In this video, I'm going to show you how to automate email notifications from a Google form submission in Google Sheets and AppScript. I built this just sample form and I put responses into this spreadsheet, and I will show you how to do all of this, but writing some AppScript code I will share also in my GitHub, which will be linked in the description below, on how to send both to yourself. So let's say you have an event and you want to get an update anytime someone RSVPs, this will function to send you an update, or you can send an email to the respondent, the recipient, with like a thank you note or more information on the event. To show you an example, this is the email that I automated. Basically, when somebody completes that form with feedback, it says, thank you for your feedback. If you're not already a subscriber, please click here to do so. Very basic email just to get the point across. And I also just generated one for myself. It says somebody responded to your form here, and it links to the form. Let's get into how to build this. So in a new Google Drive, I'm going to go to Google Forms and go to From a Template. You can use any of these templates or create your own form. But as I mentioned, event RSVP, this could help you send a notification to your guests about more details once they RSVP yes, and you can have the email be sent based on their answer, which could be interesting. And I don't show that exactly here, but just to show you what I do have, create a form, navigate to the responses tab and link to sheets. Maybe you already have an existing spreadsheet. I'm just going to have it create a new one, and that opens up, and I'm going to go to extensions, AppScript. And the first thing I'm going to do is write get email details. And this is how we're going to get the information from the sheet regarding the recipient's email. Just to show you one of the more important components early on is setting up a trigger. Navigate to triggers in the left side rail and click add trigger. And you're going to select the function we just named. So get email details. That's the only function here. It'll run on the head deployment. The event source is from a spreadsheet, and we're going to click on form submit. You need to authorize. Once you authorize and save that trigger, you'll see it pop up here and back to the code. So this sheet has a name of the tab is form responses 1, which is pretty common if you have Google actually set up a new sheet for you for the responses. And we're going to say get active spreadsheet. So spreadsheet app.get active spreadsheet, get sheet by name. And I'm going to paste in the name that I just copied. And I'm going to say let last row equals sheet.get last row. Similarly, I will say let last call equals sheet get last column. And then I'm going to get the email column. This will change if you have a different form, but for the sake of showcasing what I mean here, I'm going to get the first row. Starting at the first column, I only want to get the first row because that's usually the headings, and I want to go all the way to the last column. And I'm going to get those values, which is returned as an array, and I'm going to just get an index of email because this is what I have in this column here, and I want to retrieve the email address from the new form submission. I'm going to copy that, paste it because I also want to get the name, and we'll say name call. I'll also say let row data equal sheet get range last row because we want to get the new row that was just added. So last row starting at the first column, one row, and last column, get those values, and we'll get the 0th of those, and that will basically just get all of the values. So we have the data from that row, and we'll say const recipient email is equal to row data and then the index of email column. We'll also say const name equals row data name call. Similar. We're going to create a function called send feedback email to the name and the recipient email. And then we're also going to write a function to send yourself an email, which we'll call send self email. I'm going to comment that out for now. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to say function, paste that in curly brackets. And I'm also going to const an HTML template. Now I had AI write me the HTML template that I'm going to get here. So pasting this in, pretty standard HTML document with some styling and the div with the name that will be dynamically updated, a link to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I'll say HTML template is equal to HTML template.replace name with the name that we're passing into the function as a parameter. So we're going to get this name, update it in the email so it says hi name. We'll also say const HTML output is equal to HTML service, create HTML output, HTML template. And finally, we'll say mail app.send email, and I'm going to pass in an object where I say to recipient email, subject, and I'm just going to write your Automaway feedback has been received, and the HTML body, which we'll say HTML output.get content. And I'm just going to write the other function as well. Function send self email, and it's pretty similar. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm not going to take any parameters in there though, because I'm just going to write the email, and I'll change the subject, somebody submitted, and I'll say here, just a p tag, and I'll wrap the here with an href a tag and close the p, and I'm going to pass in URL or just sheet, and I'll replace sheet with this, because then I'll just say let sheet equal spreadsheet app get active spreadsheet get URL, and that should work to pass in the sheet dynamically. And then the email, I'm just going to say let email equal drew@greetings.com, which is the email address I'm using here. You would update that to be your email address. I'm going to uncomment this, Command S to save it. I need to publish this form. I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to go over to another browser, and I'm going to provide feedback that I want more advanced Google Apps script. Okay, I just submitted a form, and now I'm going to go check to see if my email was received on both accounts. Okay, the first attempt broke, and I'll show you what happened in a second, but just so you're aware, this email did just come in 0 minutes ago, and both to myself and to the person that submitted the form, which was myself, but in another email address. So the issue, it kept saying that you can't assign to a constant, because I'm trying to reassign HTML template to replace, and I had this as const. I'm just going to say let in both functions. So let instead of const for that HTML template. I think you could use var as well, and that is a convention that I never got used to in Google Apps Script. But so I hope this was helpful, and you find a good use for how to send emails using a Google Sheets update, either yourself or to external recipients. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment if you have a request for a project that you want to see in the future. I'm happy to take some requests and see if I can build it for you, and then help others build something similar. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your interest in automating away your repetitive tasks.